I'll let you know the areas I expect for a high chance for rain this weekend and how Arctic air will bring very unusual weather close to our area. Your forecast across the Caribbean and the Bahamas starts right now.
This is Meteo Mundo.
Hi friends, Rusty back here at Meteo Mundo. It's great to see you on a Friday. I hope you are doing well. Got a lot to get into this video. We have some active weather ahead for the weekend and some really unusual weather sneaking close to the area as well. Welcome. Love to hear from you guys. Let me know in the comment section below where you're viewing from and what the weather has been like. If you are a new viewer, I welcome you here to Meteo Mundo. Meteo Mundo is sponsored by the Lean Law Firm out of Central Florida. They are your hometown homeowners insurance attorneys. They cover homeowners, condo owners, and associations across the state. Anything that could impact you or your property, they are there to cover you and walk you through the insurance claim process. They offer free consultations and policy reviews. You can visit leanonmelaw.com for more information or call 407-502-0053. You are looking at our high-resolution visible satellite imagery. These are your temperatures currently on this Friday, which range from the upper 60s Fahrenheit to some mid and upper 80s in the eastern and the southern sides of the Caribbean. Now, friends, we're going to get some active weather in a few different areas. We have this broad area of low pressure in the southeast Gulf of Mexico and an associated warm front. It's bringing some showers and even a few rumbles of thunder to the northwest Bahamas as we speak. We'll look at that. We also have this stalling out and dying out frontal boundary across portions of the Greater Antilles, including the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands. And rain chances there will be going much higher, and then some big time Arctic air to sneak into and talk about as well. First things first, before we get into the forecast, we always here at Meteo Mundo, using our sophisticated weather technology, look at what's happening currently across the board. You can clearly see again that spin just west of Key West, the thicker cloud coverage. You can see the live lightning data here at Meteo Mundo as well. We're actually getting some lightning strikes currently in the northwest side of the Bahamas. So let's take a look at the live radar right now. Showers beginning to drift at a fairly quick variety across Bimini and Freeport and Lucaya there in Grand Bahama, where the temperature has dropped to a very chilly 66 degrees. Thick clouds over Walker's Key, the Abacos as well, back towards Andros and Nassau, New Providence. And again, we have just enough instability in the atmosphere where we're pulling out a couple of lightning strikes. Those could try and slip into the northern sides of Eleuthera or the southern sides of Great Abaco. Clouds are going to be thick as far south as the central Bahamas, but most of the moisture is actually going to be lifting to the north as this warm front lifts up north. So really the rain chances here are going to be confined to the northern side of the Bahamas. And although the cloud coverage will be a little bit thicker, central and even southeast, I'm not expecting there to be a lot of rain in that area, at least in the short term. Now, we're going to start to see even more rain pull over places like Haiti and the Dominican Republic, Turks and Caicos, but especially down towards Puerto Rico, the U.S. and British Virgin Islands, and portions of the Leeward Islands, as this stalled out boundary will basically sit over the area and provide a lot of lift and extra tropical moisture to bring a round of showers and even a few rumbles of thunder. And rain chances are going higher, but they're going to go even higher on our Saturday as well. This is the live look for you here, and I want to switch over to the live radar out of Puerto Rico, and you can already see some of the showers beginning to develop. We've had some of those drift over places like Rotown, Tortola, and Virgin Gorda, St. Thomas and St. John at the hour. Showers trying to kind of sneak just by Vieques and Culebra, the southeast sides of Puerto Rico. There's additional rain on tap, though. You can see the showers on the northern coastline, and those are going to be pushing their way down. Also some decent rain on the southwest side of the island towards Cabo Rojo, and we'll continue to see showers kind of pile up along the northern coastline of the Dominican Republic here with that northeasterly flow. Now, before the rain moved in, Raymond sent me this beautiful photo there from Las Terrenas of the Samana Peninsula there in the Dominican Republic. Said it was 65 degrees Fahrenheit when he took this photo. I don't think you can get a better shot than that. Raymond, I appreciate you sending in that photo to help tell the story. But again, it's going to get a little bit cloudier. It's going to get a little bit wetter in this area here as we push through the weekend. And you can already see some of those thicker cloud coverage moving over the Samana Peninsula, Puerto Plata, Punta Cana, even down towards Santo Domingo. Now, Haiti will be a little bit drier. The northeast breeze probably keeping a little bit of that moisture off to the north and to the east. Shower chances will begin to improve for our friends in Anguilla, St. Bart's, Barbuda, Antigua, St. Kitts and Nevis, Saba, St. Martin, and Montserrat. Temperatures right now currently in the lower 80s Fahrenheit. Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique. We've had a few passing showers in these areas. Very elevated sea conditions as well. St. Lucia, Barbados, and again, just some extra clouds and a passing shower from time to time. Same thing for our friends in St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Grenada. Trinidad and Tobago, you live in these areas, you've caught some of the showers, let me know in the comments section below. You can even see there was a couple lightning strikes here and there as well. We've had some passing showers near Nueva Esparta. We've had additional rain coming back over the ABC Islands, Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao, all with some passing showers. Notice how their temperatures fall here as the clouds move in, and they've gotten some of that locally heavy rainfall. If you live in the ABC Islands, you've caught some of that, and again, even some lightning just north of Aruba. Let me know in the comments section below. We've been watching this little energy moving into the western sides of the Caribbean as well. It hasn't spelled as much rain so far. It's really elevated the sea conditions. We have a high seas alert, if you will, for the coastal and offshore waters on the south side of Jamaica. So for mariners and fishermen for the Kingston area south, please keep that in mind. Couple of clouds, a few showers today, but generally speaking, fairly high and dry across this area. You get into the western sides of the Caribbean, and I'll switch over to our enhanced satellite imagery and then the water vapor imagery, and anywhere that you see red is drier air. So there's just more dry air entrenched into the western Caribbean at the time. Doesn't mean we're not going to get some showers, but the moisture content quality is not as prominent as other areas. So these are going to be fairly light to moderate showers and pretty sparse in nature overall for us here. We go a little bit farther to the north though, and this will be the next thing that we get into, and this is going to be our Arctic system that'll be coming in. Now, first thing I want to do, and you guys saw the thumbnail to the video, so I don't want to go too far out in time before I talk about the opportunity for some very unusual weather in the southeast United States. And we have a lot of viewers who tune in from the United States and from Florida, and a lot of you who live in the Caribbean who have interests in Florida as well. So let's get into that, and then I'm going to take you through the island by island rainfall forecast coming up in a bit. But for the first time all winter, we are going to get a push of true Arctic air to slide all the way down into the southern plains. And as an area of low pressure tries to develop in the northwest Gulf of Mexico, it's going to start to run into some of that much colder Canadian air. And there is the opportunity that as that develops and tries to move off, that it is going to bring a little bit in the way of some winter weather. So let me show you how this plays out here. Hopefully it is. This is going to be our precip type, and you'll see this come on in just 1 second once the model fully runs through the time frame that I told it to load. Now we're going to start to see right here in south central Texas, you're going to see a little bit in the way of some snow, some sleet, and some freezing rain develop across the I-10 corridor. Now this will begin to kind of pop up as we get into our Monday and early on Tuesday. And then everything raises off towards the east. But I want to be clear, some of this winter weather could be brushing the northern Gulf Coast. I'm talking about the Gulf of Mexico, where we could have a mix of sleet and freezing rain for places like Houston and Galveston, maybe very close to New Orleans. We could have some snow north of I-10 in New Orleans area towards Baton Rouge, southern sides of Mississippi and into Alabama. And then this GFS model actually, I do expect there to be some snow in the far western panhandle of Florida, okay? I'm going to show you the European model coming up in just a second. It's more robust at keeping cold enough air at the surface to continue to provide kind of a slushy mix across I-10 as far east as the Live Oak area here in Florida, and then certainly bringing some snow to the southern sides of Georgia. But this is a very unusual pattern here. It is going to bring some wet weather to the Bahamas. It's going to bring another punch of much colder air, but I just had to take a second to talk about this extremely unusual pattern because we have friends of Meteo Mundo who watch the channel who live in this area, and Monday and Tuesday, it is going to get gnarly. So again, this is the GFS model. Watch the snow fly across I-10 and then kind of turn into a wintry mix across northern Florida, southeast Georgia, and portions of Alabama. And this is the European snowfall map. We're talking about the European model bringing more than 2 inches of rain to places like Tallahassee, Florida, and into south central Georgia, and then up the Carolina coastline. Again, these are very impressive rainfall snow totals in inches. It's very rare on this channel I talk about snow, but there you go. We could even have maybe a few flurries flying as far south as Jacksonville and Gainesville, Florida as well. So how about that? I'll keep you updated on that, but man, that is an unusual pattern indeed. Friends, if you've gotten this far, thank you for taking a quick second and liking this video. If you haven't subscribed to Meteo Mundo and you want these daily forecasts, thank you for subscribing right now. If you're so inclined, thank you for finding other ways to support the channel. Just sharing this with your family and friends really helps us out. You can become a member of the channel. That's just 99 cents a month. The super thanks are open, and you can find other ways to support the channel in the video description below as well. Okay, now we get into how this is going to be playing out across the rest of our area. So let me back this up just a second here. Hey, the good news is for the rest of the Caribbean, we don't need to be looking at precipitation type. We don't have to worry about snow flying in Barbados. But I do want to talk about how the weather is going to impact some of the bigger events that'll be going on here as well. So let's get into the forecast. We'll start off with our friends in the Bahamas. Again, we have some active weather today in the northwest Bahamas. We can still see a couple of showers here over the next few days. Now, the rain again is mainly lifting to the north until it interacts with that colder air, and then it gets pushed back off towards the south. But at least through Monday, the rain chances are actually relatively limited. Rain chances should go higher again late Tuesday into Wednesday for places like Freeport and Nassau. But I'm just expecting some scattered light showers tomorrow, and the chance for rain overall is only around 10 to 20%. It'll be at the same situation for our friends in places like Exuma and the Acklands back down towards the Turks and Caicos. And again, few showers are possible in these areas, but even with our frontal boundary stalled off to the south, the Turks and Caicos are relatively in the drier air, so not expecting as much rain there. Same situation for Cuba and even into the western sides of the Caribbean, places like Grand Cayman and Jamaica. A few isolated showers are possible here, but there's no real concentration of moisture to provide us any big rain chances. So again, many dry hours and locations. My friends in Montego Bay and Negril will enjoy an absolutely beautiful weekend. Kingston and Port Antonio, Ocho Rios and Mandeville and Maypen, again, enjoy it. A couple of showers will be popping by, but again, offshore waters will be churned up with some rougher surf and sea conditions. Now to areas that I expect to see more impactful weather. And that again will be the northern coastline of Haiti and especially the Dominican Republic from Puerto Plata all the way down towards Punta Cana. High rain chances for our friends in Puerto Rico as well. And I know we have the La Fiestas de la Calle San Sebastian area seeing some outdoor activity and a wonderful festival there. If you are headed to those events, just be mindful of the high rain chance, especially on our Saturday. Rain chances will still be relatively high on Sunday across the islands as well, and then beginning to improve on Monday. But the weekend forecast is not fantastic, as showers will be fairly abundant, and some of this rainfall could be on the heavier side. It's also churning up sea conditions. We have some rip current risk and some high surf advisories on the northern sides of the islands. It'll be the same situation here for our friends from Anegada back down towards St. Thomas, St. John, and St. Croix. We're passing showers, and really some of the ranges setting in over the weekend will be some of the bigger storylines for us here, improving conditions beginning on Monday. Same thing for the Leeward Islands as well. Anguilla, St. Bart's, Antigua and Barbuda, Saba, St. Martin, St. Kitts and Nevis, 40, 50, 60, maybe even a couple of spots with a 70% chance for rain. This is very, relatively unusual for January. We got to have this front stalling out in the exact orientation that it is to provide the lift in the atmosphere to get that quality of moisture content to provide those high rain chances and some decent rainfall totals we'll look at coming up as well. You go south of Guadeloupe towards Dominica and Martinique, rain chances will be scattered, but they're going to be there. I mean, again, I'm just letting this loop up over the next 3 days. You see nothing extremely concentrated, but you also see there's a lot of green on the map. The easterlies will continue to crank in, and they're going to provide some passing showers. St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago will see more isolated to scattered rain, but sea conditions will continue to be elevated. We have the Barbados sailing week continuing in Hastings tomorrow. There is a small craft and high surf advisory. So again, some of the larger vessels, they're going to be just fine. But for any other boaters or any other beach goers, please be very cautious in Barbados for the weekend ahead. I hope the weather cooperates enough for the remainder of sailing week there in Barbados. Trinidad and Tobago should continue to see some passing showers as well. moisture will stream quickly to the east. So places like Nueva Esparta will have a decent chance for some rain. And my friends in the ABC Islands, I do expect, again, some relatively wet weather for our Saturday and more additional rain chances continuing into Sunday and Monday. These will be quick shots of rain, but Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao all have that opportunity, so the moisture content continues to be on the good side here. The moisture content is not as prominent in the western sides of the Caribbean. Now, this does not mean we're not going to get some scattered showers for Panama and Costa Rica, and some moving into Nicaragua and Honduras as well. I do expect some rain to develop along the coastline of Quintana Roo, back down towards Belize and Guatemala and northern Honduras, though those would be mainly light passing showers from time to time. And again, late in this period, we'll be watching how this developing system in the Western Gulf could influence some of the weather across the Yucatan, maybe even the northern sides of Central America. Could be another shot of rain quickly racing through for Cuba, the Straits of Florida, and into the Bahamas as well. So let's break down your island by island rain chance over the next few days. We'll start off with our friends in the Northwest Bahamas, 20% chance over the weekend, just a 10% chance on Monday. But again, just beyond this, rain chances will be going higher again. Central and Southeast Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, again, very isolated indeed. Even Cuba has just a 20% chance. Cayman Island goes to 20% over the weekend, up to a 30 on Monday. So a few more showers, but nothing very heavy. Belize, a 20% chance for showers Sunday and Monday, up to a 30. Cancun and Cozumel, again, rain chances will build. It could be even higher again starting on Tuesday. Jamaica's rain chances are very isolated over the weekend. Should be beautiful. 30% chance on Monday. Look at the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico. 70% chance for rain tomorrow, 40 Sunday, drier in Puerto Rico, still 40% chance on Monday. U.S. and British Virgin Islands with a high rain chance tomorrow, still scattered on Sunday and then more isolated on Monday. Bermuda will deal with a lot of wind and rain starting late Sunday and into Monday. After a relatively dry weekend, rain chances really go up on Monday. Anguilla, 50% chance over the weekend, still 40 on Monday. St. Kitts and Nevis, 50, then a 40. And again, that's the rainfall chances I expect in most areas. A 40 to a 50, maybe isolated higher in a couple of spots. Antigua and Barbuda, 40% chance over the weekend, actually building to 50 on Monday. So you see that this pattern is not going anywhere over the next few days as that stalled out boundary kind of just sits and waffles, becomes what we call quasi-stationary, kind of bounces back and forth before it eventually erodes away. The rain chances remain relatively high through Monday. Dominica's rain chances build to 50 on Monday. Same thing for Martinique, up to 40. St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines, isolated to scattered showers. It's not as prominent for rain for Barbados, but again, the sea conditions are elevated. Trinidad and Tobago also have a yellow alert for high seas, so you get the idea. We're turned up here. Grenada with a 30% chance for showers, building rain chances for our friends in Suriname and Guyana and the mainland, and some of this heavier rain will skirt the mainland and some of the coastal islands like Nueva Esparta and the ABC Islands, where rain chances build from a 20% chance tomorrow in the ABC Islands all the way up to a 60% chance on Monday. I mentioned the sea conditions. It's a big story this time of the year. And again, look at the easterlies just cranking in. The cold fronts coming off the United States East Coast continue to churn up the western Atlantic with gale conditions in some areas. Again, through the Caribbean, it's easterly winds. If there's going to be any confluence of winds, it'll be as this front comes in and kind of bumps into the easterlies. It could really elevate the sea conditions again in the western Caribbean as we go into portions of next week. But on the eastern side of the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, near gale conditions continue to be expected, and that's not going to really change for the greater and the lesser Antilles as well, especially on the eastern and the northern sides of the islands with the fetch of wind that we currently have into play. All right, so rainfall totals. This is our first little system through the northern Bahamas. Here comes our cold front with the winter weather, and you'll see that by the end of this period, watch that bloom and blossom. And again, the northwest Bahamas into basically their in between the Yucatan and western Cuba and back into Central America and Quintana Roo. Those are the areas with the best chance for some heavy rain in our spots. Locally heavy rain could still develop along the Caribbean coastline of Central America. For the rest of the Bahamas, it's much more scattered in nature, but you can see that on the European model. It's hard to tell, but there are pockets of very heavy rainfall through portions of the Lesser Antilles on the eastern side of the islands here, as these easterlies just really bring in a fair amount of moisture from what we typically see in January. It's a relatively active pattern, and these rainfall totals are pretty darn high for this time of the year. This is what it looks like on the GFS model. So I just showed you the European. The GFS has some of the heaviest rain at least through Tuesday north of the area, but late Tuesday, Wednesday, some of this rain is going to shift off towards the south, right? I can show you that real quickly as well. If I just take this out a little bit farther in time on the GFS, so I'll take it out until here, you can see that some of the rain begins to move a little bit farther off towards the south. We'll see how that plays out, but certainly places like Freeport and Walker's Key could be close to some excessive rainfall if this plays out and moves a little bit farther to the south. You can see some of the higher rainfall totals, as I mentioned, for places like Cancun and Cozumel. Now, this is down the road, and, you know, over the next week to get an inch to an inch and a half of rain is not too excessive, but some heavier showers are possible in some of these spots. You can see what we're talking about here across portions of Guatemala and Belize to the northern sides of Honduras and the Bay Islands, Roatan, maybe about 2 inches of rain. Again, it dries out for my friends in Jamaica with very little rainfall expected there and into the Cayman Islands. There's your, again, favoring of the coastal areas of the northern sides of the Dominican Republic, but even places like Santo Domingo could get near an inch of rain as well. Punta Cana, about the same scenario. And again, favoring the eastern sides and the coastal islands, Vieques and Culebra of Puerto Rico, through portions of the U.S. Virgin Islands as well. Hey, 2.5 inches of rain over the next 5 to 7 days is relatively impressive. And you see that not only the European model, but the GFS does the same scenario here on the eastern sides of Guadeloupe and Dominica and Martinique, where, again, solid rainfall totals are possible through some of these spots. And there's your mainland heavier rain. As I mentioned, some of that could drift up towards Trinidad. It's certainly possible that we could get some heavier rain there. And then it skirts the coastline through Nueva Esparta and again, the ABC Islands. So near Curacao, hey, we'll take 3/4 of an inch of rain. Again, 1 inch is 25 millimeters. So a lot of these spots that we're talking about, 1 to 2 inches, that's going to be 25 to 50 millimeters. Northern sides of the Lesser Antilles, you know, again, about the same scenario as well. But, you know, relatively speaking, we've got some spots to watch out for some relatively heavy rain and active weather over the next 3 to 5 days. Hey, just like Raymond did, you want to send me a picture or video in your area to include to these YouTube videos? All you have to do is email me, mymeteomundo@gmail.com. Just include your name, of course, where the picture or video is from. You want to give me a little description, I appreciate that as well. You can follow us across all social media. We are not just on YouTube, we're on Instagram, TikTok, as long as they'll let us, X, Facebook, and there is our email address as well. Once again, I want to thank the Lean Law Firm out of Central Florida for being a sponsor here of Meteo Mundo. They are your hometown homeowners insurance attorneys. They'll cover anything regarding your property or your personal self as well, walk you through the insurance claim process. They offer free consultations and policy reviews. It's www.leanonmelaw.com or 407-502-0053. If anything in your life warrants giving them a call, I recommend that you guys do so. Friends, I hope you have a great rest of your Friday. You all take care. I'm back soon with the latest forecast. We'll talk more about this potential snow in southeast United States early next week. Want to see you next time right here at Meteo Mundo.